It's a blessing to welcome on one of the stars of college basketball the past 3 years, and now the newest member of Virginia, Jayden Gardner. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Pretty good. We obviously put your name in the transfer portal. Like I said, you've had a pretty much historic past 3 year run now. Now you come out to Virginia. Walk us through this, though, and how excited are you for this?
I'm pumped. I'm very excited to join a great culture, tradition, get to play with some really nice players, get coached by some of the best people in the world. So I'm very excited for this opportunity.
Walk us through the decision a little bit. Obviously, it wasn't an easy one. You had pretty much all the schools in the country reaching out to some capacity for you. Come with the top five, then NC State's in the mix. Miami, obviously Virginia, Arkansas, LSU. What one of those five schools, and why did they make that final group for you?
They just had an abundance of need for me, and just they was all great people, great coaches, great staffs, and they all had great opportunities for me. And they really stood out from everybody else, and that's why I put them in my five, and then had to make another tough decision after that.
So what led you to Virginia? What was it about them that separated Virginia from those other four programs?
Just the culture, tradition. Tony Bennett. He was really big on me coming here, so that's probably the main reasons, main factors.
Absolutely. Well, we're gonna get back into this a little bit later in terms of Virginia, but I want Virginia fans to get to know you a little bit better because this wasn't always an easy journey. You obviously come through, not being the highest ranked recruit, but made your story, made your legacy. So let's kind of head all the way back though. You're from North Carolina. What was it like growing up out there?
North Carolina is very competitive. It's a basketball state. So if you're not playing basketball and you're growing up, I don't know what you're doing. It's a very, very family orientated state. It's a great place to live and grow up on. It's a place that always be home to me.
As you said, that is an area that's really well known for basketball. A lot of talent comes from that area. When you just look at that, though, like when you're talking about competing against some of the top players in the country, game in, game out, throughout AAU, throughout high school, how much did that help develop you? And what was like kind of growing up in the basketball atmosphere there?
It's amazing. You get to play against some of the best people, not only in the state but the country. So it's just very competitive. It really shapes you as a basketball player
Mhm.
to get ready for the next level.
So you go through a different route. You obviously choose to stay at high school for your entire 4 year career. And we know that for a lot of guys these days, there's a lot of transferring. A lot of guys don't typically stay at one school for 4 years. That's what you did, though. You stayed at Heritage for your entire high school career. But let's kind of go back a little bit. Like, why was Heritage originally the school you chose? Why is that the place you wanted to live out your high school career?
It's just a place that I had established ties and family and just opportunity for me to showcase my abilities. We played in a great conference.
Mhm.
The Cap Eight was all it's been very historic. It's got some really great players. Pete Maravich,
Mhm.
uh, you know, um, Jerome Robinson. A lot of great players just come through the Cap Eight, and I just felt that we could do something special there, and we did. We got to the state championship.
You get a better relationship with Coach Burrow for your entire career there. How did that grow when you're talking about going in there your first day or when he started kind of recruiting you to go to the school to the point now
Mhm.
today where you guys have now lived out your high school career? He's kind of been with you still, I can imagine, throughout your college career a
Mhm.
little bit. What's this been like seeing the way you guys bond has grown?
I mean, him just getting to know me uh, since freshman year, and just our relationship has grown steadily. And just him trusting me was a big part, and especially trusting me as a freshman. I started all the games there since I was a freshman. So just building that bond with him and just knowing we got each other's backs. So it was a good relationship.
You head into high school, and if I would have told you that down the road you're going to eventually be playing at Virginia, most likely starting out there, and having already a great college career, being a Division One player, going through high school even, just going 89-25, Player of the Year, all these accolades you end up getting, would you have seen that in your future? Would you have believed that?
I don't doubt myself, but it's still amazing to see and amazing to hear that I'm doing all this stuff. I mean, I always dream big. But it's just a blessing to be able to do all this stuff.
So you head into your high school career, and your first year out there, you average 11 points, 5 rebounds, pretty much assert yourself as a great player right at the gate. How are you able to do that and kind of walk us through that freshman year for you?
Freshman year is just all about experience in the field. Middle school to high school is very different. Pace, faster. It's like that whenever you take the next step, the next level of play, it's always something different. The style of play, the pace is just different. And it just takes you a few games to get acclimated and just, you're going to have some bad games here and there, but if you just stay the course, you're going to get better.
Now, what you just said is typical for the majority of guys, but like I said, you walk in there, you already average 7 and 5. And if we fast forward a little bit, you come into college and you're already averaging 16, 8.5, which is something that very few freshmen in the country did, especially playing at the level you did. How were you able to come in so ready to go and at pretty much every level you played at so far?
I think that just goes back to what we talked about, just being in North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
North Carolina basketball gets you ready. They get you ready to play at any level. I believe so, and just it's just some of the best competition in the world. That's why we're called the Hoop State. So it's just me being confident, but me working and just me having God-given abilities to go out there on the court and succeed.
There's another guy that I'm sure you guys have become pretty close with, and that's because you have a 4-year career out there with him. That's Jaren. Obviously, you guys did a lot of winning together, played a lot alongside each other, both made your dreams come true of playing Division I basketball. Discuss your relationship, though, a little bit with him.
Me and Jaren is one of my closest friends from Heritage.
Mhm.
We accomplished all our goals at Heritage. We put them on the map. We won the John Wall Invitational Tournament. We won 20 wins. We averaged 20 wins since we've been there. So we really accomplished everything we said to do. We got to a state championship. So we really had some big things done at Heritage.
When you see a guy like Jaren or any of the guys you can create a relationship through AAU with, or all of the guys that have now gone Division I, what's like kind of watching them live out that same dream that you're living out?
It's great, man. It's great seeing everybody eat. That's
Mhm.
that's it's just big because you play against these guys, you play with these guys, and all these guys are talented. And then when you see them make it, you're just like, that's what's up. It's just it's expected because we know what each other is about and what we can do. So it's just nice to see everybody on the same level.
You then take a massive jump for your sophomore campaign. You guys go 21-8 that year, and you jump up to having 20 points, 11 rebounds, a steal, block, and an assist per game. What led to that jump?
Just the summertime working, confidence, me being a more veteran player. We lost like 7 seniors after that year. So just me knowing I'm the guy now. So I just had to be like the guy, act like the guy, and I perform.
At what point in your high school career would you say it started clicking for you and you started realizing, okay, I think I am this guy. I can be the guy that's going to lead a team to potentially a state championship, but also I'm a guy that can play Division I and play at a high level at the Division I level.
Yeah, I say sophomore year because after my first 3 games, my high school coach, Brill, he just pulled me aside and said, you're special. Like, keep it up. You know what I mean? It was just like I was like, I'm doing this because first 3 games I had like 27, 24, like 22, and I was just like, all right, here we go. And then fast forward to end the season, then we get start before I think it was before AAU, I got my first offer, and
Mm-hmm.
it was just eye opening. I was just like, wow. So I was just like, it was like it's just a blessing. You know what I mean? It's your first scholarship offer. It's something you dream about. So
This is kind of the confusing part because when you look at yourself, once again, you're playing in the hoop state, you're playing with an area that has tons of high major offers. Schools are always looking at that area. A lot of guys highly ranked in that state. But why was it the case for you? Because you obviously come out, you get ranked a little bit. I mean, you're 3-star, top 70 overall four. They rank you on 247, but you clearly are producing at maybe the highest level in the entire state. You go down as one of the better players statistically in state history. The rankings aren't there. You're not getting all the super high major offers. Why do you think the case was for that? And how did you handle that?
it's just all about uh coaches. Sometimes they're there to see guys they've already seen before. It's hard to picture some stuff happening next level, but that's also to a credit to myself. I've always have a chip on my shoulder because things like that. Just probably didn't believe I could do it at the next level, but then I'm doing it at the next level. And then now we see it's possible now. That's why everybody wanted me in the country. So it's just if you're not getting recruited, it's at the high majors, it's slightly because they don't believe that you can do the same thing you're doing then now at their level. So you just got to have that motivation, the chip in your shoulder that what you're doing is work. So make sure you just keep working. That's all.
Like I said earlier, too, game in and game out, you're going up against another guy that's most likely going Division I. There's a good chance also playing a guy that's probably ranked or a guy that's ranked in front of you, whatnot. What are those games like? And was there a certain game that you were excited for? Like when you looked at that calendar, you looked at that team, you said, "Oh, I want to match up against this team because they have blank or blank."
I say probably just every time we played Millbrook,
Mm.
every time we played Millbrook, it was just because I just remember the bad taste they put in my mouth my freshman year, just killing us by like 40 points, 30 points. And they were the talk of the town, you know. At one point they had made a rap song because we was like 10-1. We was finna play them, and then they was saying all this about us, saying all that. And they came to our house sophomore year. We had never beat Millbrook before. Beat Millbrook, beat them. The crowd was crazy. It was amazing. It was just, then that was a major changing point in our culture. Beat Millbrook for the first time, and then fast forward later, junior year, beat them 2 times. Senior year, beat them 3 times. So it was just, it's just that was the game I always got up for.
How about a certain player? Was there ever a guy that you not necessarily, maybe not even formed a rivalry with, but kind of that guy that you just love competing with one on one, whether it be on the AAU circuits or just within the high school atmosphere?
Oh, one. Let me see. I say probably um what's his name? I think his name is Brock. Yeah, I think it's Brock from Millbrook. At the four, he was uh he was someone I like to match up with. He was very versatile, could do a lot of things on the court. So it was good to match up with him.
Throughout that year, then you walk away with the second team all district. You also share player of the year for the CAPS. When you talk about that, it's obviously you start getting some accolades, you start getting more stuff behind your name. People start knowing who Jayden Gardner is. How did that feel?
I mean, it felt good to just get recognized for all my hard work because I mean, I work really hard in my craft. So it's nice to see that people recognize what I was doing out there in the court.
You then head into your upperclassmen years, and once again, you have another big jump. Then you start averaging 23 points and 15 rebounds. Also, your team only loses 2 games in the entire season, go 28-2. Take us through that junior year for you.
Oh, it was amazing. It was just we had high expectations. Everybody had been there before. Everybody came back. So we just knew the sky was the limit, and we were just out there playing free all season. You know, and we sold ourselves short in the playoffs, but we had a really phenomenal season.
Then they head into your senior year, and that's another situation where you and Jaron are still there. You guys finish up your senior campaign. There's an upcoming freshman that's now the next player that's going to become a Division One player from Heritage, and that's Lucas Taylor walks in. Walk us through that. You see Lucas for the first time. Was he special? Did you think he was going to be someone that's going to become a top 100 type level guy like he is today, or what were your original thoughts on Lucas?
Lucas was a spot up shooter when we got here. Um, he wouldn't he didn't really dribble it as much. He didn't really show as much, or you know. But I just knew he had a knockdown shooter, and I knew like if you can shoot the ball the way he shot the ball, he can play the next level. And this his growth from freshman year to senior year was phenomenal. He can put it on the floor now. He can drive. He's very athletic. He can get up at the rim. So his progression has been amazing. And he's gonna be a great get for Wake Forest.
Seeing the way he jumped now, like I said, to a top 100 guy, now going to Wake Forest, probably going to be a guy that's going to be starting for them, a key piece of that future for them. Are you shocked by that at all? Or did you see him becoming this good, or how good do you think he was going to be originally?
I mean, I knew if he always kept working, the sky was the limit for him, for a guy like him, because a guy that can shoot the way he can shoot, as long as you keep adding to your game with different, being versatile there on the court, uh,
Mhm.
he was definitely bound for greatness.
So then you're going through this recruiting process at the same time. And like I said, you'd think for a guy averaging all the numbers you just put up throughout your career, you'd be getting all kinds of high major offers, high looks, especially maybe in a school like Clemson or whatnot in state or near state. But when you go through this process that you ultimately choose to go to East Carolina, walk us through the recruiting process and why was East Carolina the school you chose?
My recruiting process, I know I had like 30 Division One offers. Most were mid majors, had one high major. Um, and it just came down to just staying close to home, I was just like, I might as well stay close to home so my family can see me. And the American Conference is right on the cusp of being, a P5, P6 type schools on the cusp.
Mm-hmm.
So might as well go play there and play at home and see what I can do there. That was the thought process.
We look back at your overall high school picture now. You see everything you've achieved. You also walk away first in rebounds all time, second in points scored in the Wake Forest County. All the other things you achieved too, though. What was that like when you look at your overall high school career? Would you say you're successful, and what's your overall thoughts on what you were able to accomplish then?
I just build a legacy, I just hope to be one of the Wake County legends. Looking back at it, and one of the best people that played in North Carolina in high school. So it's just something I always looked for myself to be. Just one of the great ones that played in North Carolina. Someone people can remember.
What would you say was your favorite memory throughout your high school career?
Probably definitely none would take away the states. Getting to the state championship at least once. I had to get there. I had to get there. I fell too short too many times, so I had to get there.
And I think when you choose East Carolina is that you have a new coach come in. Obviously, they had to change the whole coaching scheme. So you're really one of the first recruits for Coach Dooley. Why was he able to be the guy that you said, okay, I trust you. I like your plan. I want to commit with you?
It was just about like coming in together. Like we're both new, and I know he wasn't the guy that recruited me, but we could build that relationship because we're both new guys. So he obviously watched some tape on me, and he liked what he saw, and we just ran from there.
What was his original expectations? I know all coaches will say, oh, we're going to play you a lot. We want you to be our go-to guy. Clearly, that can only be one guy, and you do become that person. But is that what you truly think he expected for you, or what was his plans for what you're going to bring to the team?
No, he just thought I was just going to be, freshman, have his curves and stuff like that. But his philosophy is always the best 5 players will play. So I just made sure I showcased that in practice and scrimmages and all that.
We see a lot of time that for a lot of freshmen, and there are your phenoms. We see something like this year, for example, Cade Cunningham went off, Evan Mobley, Jalen Suggs. But besides those top 3 kind of type of caliber picks and all, we see some of the major guys put up crazy numbers. But like you said, for you to be a guy that might be a 2 to 3, 4 year player, go to a mid-major that's nearly a high major kind of school and put up your numbers is really unheard of. We don't see a lot of guys like that. How were you able to go out there and really dominate right out the gate?
Just confidence. I mean, in basketball, you gotta have confidence in yourself. So I just had the confidence. I was getting the ball, so I got to produce. And just knowing I have to produce. Just try to give us a chance out there, and I just play as hard as I can, and I let the ball take care of itself.
Did you think you're going to be capable of putting up 16, almost 9 rebounds per game, almost 1.3 assists per game? Like, did you think you were capable of doing that your freshman year?
I thought I was very capable. I thought I was very capable. Just if I was going to get the opportunity or not. A lot of times guys don't get the opportunity the first year, and I was gifted the opportunity, and I just took the opportunity and ran with it.
There is one game we have to discuss. You go out there at UCF, you put up 35 points and 20 rebounds, a very historic kind of night for yourself as a freshman once again. What went you that night, and how are you able to go produce at that level?
I was just in the zone. I feel like I could shoot a half-court shot. It was going in. It was just something about it. I was just kept going, kept rebounding, kept scoring, kept going. I was just keep going, Jayden, keep going, keep get more. So I was very humbled by the accomplishment, and just another eye-opening moment that says I can do this. I can do this against a 7'6" guy. I can do this against anybody. That's what I was thinking.
And that's like you said, you just went up against a guy in Tacko that was clearly a sensation at that point in time. But did you kind of count that up when you're talking about getting up to the 30s, 31, 32, 33, 34, and then 35 you end up with? Were you counting on the scoreboard? Were you aware of how much you were scoring, how much you were rebounding?
No, I didn't know. I didn't know either. I just kept playing the game, and then I think after when we was getting changed, I checked my phone. I was like, "What's going on?" I'm seeing 35 and 20. I'm like, I had 35 and 20. I had 20 rebounds. I had 35. I was like, wow. I was like, because I was out there playing, because I played the whole game. So I was out there exhausted, just trying to get my all. So it was crazy.
What was coach's reaction when you talked to him after the game? How was he celebrating? What was his reaction?
He was just telling me stay humble, and just stick to the course. And he said I was special. So
It is a hard trait, though, for a freshman, any kind of caliber freshman, to go in there and really earn the respect of teammates and really take on a leadership role because you led your team in 11 stat categories as a freshman. How about the off the court stuff? When you're trying to earn the respect of teammates, come in and kind of get close with a lot of guys that are from all over the place, new teammates. How are you able to get that respect and really get that bond leadership role with all your teammates that early on?
I think the best way to get respect is on the court and just in practice. Because you're beating guys out for minutes and stuff. So that's the best way to get respect out of anybody. Because I mean, off the court, you're still a freshman, so you're gonna go through freshman things. You know what I mean? You got to do this, carry this. So but I say the best way to earn respect is on the court. I definitely earn respect on the court.
From the overall media aspect, it doesn't look like you struggled too much your freshman year. But for you personally, were there some ups and downs? Like, what were some things you did struggle with, if anything, during that freshman year?
I struggled, especially freshman year, with sometimes like with double teams. I wasn't really used to double teams. That threw me off later down the season, and just uh my shot wasn't where I needed it to be, and that's when I took my jump in the following season.
Another aspect that is unique about you is that you get to the line maybe better than anyone in the country right now, and you bring a forward, not necessarily even a point guard that's driving, attacking nonstop. How have you been able to draw fouls at that kind of rate that in a clip that you do?
I'm just relentless.
Mhm.
I'm just very relentless. So I'm gonna attack you. I'm gonna test you. I'm gonna test you, and I'm gonna get fouled. And I'm gonna get fouled somehow, some way. I'm gonna get fouled. I'm gonna get to that free throw line. So
You walk in that first day of practice as a freshman in the off-season workouts. Was it easy for you right at the gate, or were there some things you struggled with in the first few practices with the team?
no, I was terrible. First two workouts, we had to run one time. I was like, "What are we running?" And it's like two down backs. Didn't make it. I was gassed. I was like, "Wow!" And then, but each after every workout, you start to get used to it. You get used to it. I mean, that's why the first 8 weeks are for in summertime. You just get used to it. You know what I mean? So when you come back, you know what to like expect, and they just gradually work your way in. But nah, it was definitely not easy. I was very bad. I was very bad.
So when would you say you started settling down? Like when did it start clicking for you at the college level now and sort of saying, okay, I'm kind of getting the hang of myself. I feel comfortable and I feel like I can go out there and be our go-to guy now.
I say probably like October.
Mhm.
October, I was shutting down and just know it's time to start playing for minutes. So that's when I really locked in and started to get things done.
Another aspect to you that's impressive is off the court too, and that is your academics. We know that you're a guy that also values academics to a high level, and you made an all academic team as a freshman too that year. Walk us through that and why do you prioritize your academics so much?
My mother first and foremost. She's always been academics over basketball.
Mhm.
Mom is academics and dad's basketball. But dad cares about academics, but mom's more academics. So she's always pushed me in the classroom. So I know take care of academics first, and then basketball will be there. So that's what really shaped me.
How do you balance that? Because that is a struggle for a lot of guys. We know there are a lot of athletes that do struggle with their academics and the grades. How do you balance that becoming an elite player in college while also having high grades?
You just got to be committed. You know what I mean? There's time in the day. I know it doesn't seem like it at times, but there's time in the day. It's just about managing your time. Uh, when to take a nap. When to have a social life. Practice. You know what I mean? And then you got school. So I feel like online has really helped with that.
You just mentioned time management. That is probably something that every person knows is important, but those that become elite, those that want to be successful, really master that skill. So, what does your day look like? How do you time manage? Like, walk us through a typical day when you're back at school, getting ready for season, off season, or season. Like, what's your typical day look like?
On season, I'm gonna just do a non-COVID situation. Typically on season, so in the morning, I'll probably up at like 8:30. Brush my teeth, wash my face, get something to eat. And then I'll be going to class from like 9 to 10:15. A little break in between.
Mhm.
Uh, then have class at like 11. 11:30 to like 1. And then I'll make my way over to the gym. We have practice at 2:30. I make sure I'm on the court an hour before. You know, practice, maybe lift, get done around like 5, 6, and then it's time to. That's when time management kicks in after you get out of practice at like 6. You know what I mean? So you're obviously hungry. Obviously need a shower, and then you might have homework, but you might have homework to do the next day or like days coming that you could knock out, or you could just wait. But that's what usually happens.
Now, when you're talking about in that locker room, when your team is not obviously winning, you guys were under 500 all 3 years. That can't be easy. I know that's tough for any locker room to constantly go through losses, especially when the main goal is to win, obviously. How do you guys handle that? What was the locker room like when you guys go 10 and 21, 11 and 20, 8 and 11? Like, what's the kind of the mood in the locker room when it's all going on?
I mean, no one's happy. No one's happy about it, and it's just always, what can we do better? What can we do better? What didn't work? You know what I mean? It's tough. I mean, me coming from a winning culture, it's tough. It's tough to go through a situation like that.
Now, we do know you ultimately make your decision to transfer and move on this past year, but obviously, I think if you come out your freshman year, you probably could have had a lot of interest. Your sophomore year, same story. Why did you decide to stay loyal and kind of keep grinding out with them for 2 more years after your freshman year?
I'm a very loyal guy. So we had a new roster coming in sophomore year, and I was very excited about that, and just knowing, you know, I was the guy, so I was the go-to guy. So uh, it was gonna go through me, and had the opportunity, and then tried to gut it out.
So let's go into that sophomore year then. You really take your game to another level. You're not making AAC player of the year. Like you're getting all these awards throughout the course of sophomore year, then you really start getting a spotlight on you because you're averaging 20 points, 9 rebounds. How were you able to make that jump? Like what led to that jump for your sophomore year?
I say supreme confidence. I say it's a similar jump from my freshman to sophomore year. And my jump shot was where I needed it to be. I was really a matchup nightmare for the league. A 6'6", 6'7" guy that can put it on the ground, can drive you. I can shoot it if you give me too much space. I can play make if you help off. I can post up if you let me. If a double come, I'll make the right read. So it was just a lot of things it's a lot of things you got a game plan for when you play me. And so I was able to do a lot of things on the court.
You mentioned supreme confidence, and I know you're a believer, and we're going to discuss faith a little bit later on, but how do you balance that? Because there's a strict line between confidence and cockiness. How have
Oh
you
yeah.
learned to really balance those two lanes?
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm definitely not cocky, but
Mhm.
when I say supreme confidence, I just mean believing in the work that you put in
Mhm.
before you play the game. So just me going into the season knowing I didn't put in too much work and too much time in this game to be missing shots, to be not clutch, to be not consistent. So I just believing in your work. That's why it's called supreme confidence. Supreme confidence in the work you put in, and then everything else will take care of itself.
You are that forward. You also can run a stretch center if you need to, but you're 6'7". That's typically sometimes we see even a shooting guard at 6'7". Even some point guards tend to be 6'7" at times. You're clearly not going to be the tallest guy. It's going to be quite rare you're going to be the tallest guy when you're going up against a matchup about the 4 or the 5. How have you become such a dominant rebounder when typically you do have a height disadvantage?
Yeah, I mean, I've always grabbed rebounds since I was younger.
Mhm.
I have a knack for finding the ball and just a rebound against bigger guys. Especially like little guys. But being able to rebound in my size and position, it's very much needed. So, I can't be averaging 4 rebounds, 5 rebounds. You know what I mean? It's got to be 8, 9, 10. You know what I mean, or plus. So just being able to rebound is very big for teams.
Give us a little bit more of that mentality because we do see a lot of time rebounders aren't always the tallest guy too. We see some of the best, like someone like Draymond Green is 6'5". Rodman, I think, was 6'8" ish or so. We see obviously Westbrook too. Point guard's a little bit different story, but what's the mentality that goes into like what does it take to truly lock in on that craft?
You just gotta be, you gotta be like I have a dog like mentality, you know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
this is your rebound, you know what I mean? Sometimes, 7-foot centers, 6'11" centers, they average like 3 rebounds, 4 rebounds. Like what you doing? 7 foot tall, like let me go get that. Let me go get that. And just sometimes people don't have that dog in them. People don't have that dog in them to go get it. But me, I have that dog in me. I'm gonna go get it. I'm gonna go get that rebound. I'm gonna go get that loose ball. You know what I mean? I'm gonna go score. So that's something about me that I really like about myself.
Would you say you were born with that dog mentality? Was that developed from growing up out there in North Carolina to college? Like, when did that dog mentality come to you?
Yeah, I just since I was young, like I would just say back to AAU days,
Mhm.
that chip on your shoulder, the edge, you know what I mean? Competitive. I mean, I was born in Durham, so uh, just have always had that chip and competitive edge on me.
There's another special night you have. It's against Tulsa, and for whatever reason, it all coincidentally kind of lined up for yourself. You grabbed 500 career rebounds as well as passed the 1,000 point mark. What was that night like?
Oh, it was crazy. Because I I had concussion like symptoms before the game. They didn't know I was gonna play. But I was telling them I'm good. I'm good. So I get out there, I score, and I'm just like, wow, I got it. And I'm just like, wow. And then playing the game, I get hit in the head. I'm at the free throw line. I'm just like, oh my God. And they all worried about me because they know I had concussion like symptoms, but I was good. But no, that was a great night. Achieving 1K and 500 rebounds. That's a milestone. That's great. It's wonderful.
Were you tracking that? Were you aware of how many points and rebounds you were away from that, or is it kind of surprising to you?
Oh well, they had already told me, just like
Hmm.
social media, how many points. I think I just needed like 2 points. So
Hmm.
just go out there and be myself, and I'll get it eventually. So
And once again, this is at a sophomore level. We see sometimes guys might get this in the senior year, maybe a junior year for some elite guys. You do this your sophomore year, and you still have more games to play after that as well. What was it like knowing that you achieved this at such a young age?
I was excited. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? I'm excited. I mean, I'm living the college basketball dream. You know what I mean? Just
Hmm.
being a focal point, go-to guy, really good at basketball. So it was it was really fun. Going to crowds. So sophomore year was really fun for me.
The first person people you probably celebrated with was your teammates, but who was the first person you called to celebrate after the locker room, after your teammates and coaches?
Probably my dad. Me and my dad. Me and my dad
Mhm.
talk. You know what I mean? Just great accomplishments for me. He was very excited. Then we got the balls. The next home game, so it was really good.
We then know that after that season comes to a close, COVID sets in, and we know the whole pandemic and everything that comes along with that. Well, you know that you're gonna be locked in now. You know that the lockdown is gonna be for foreseeable future. What was your mentality as a basketball player? What did you really want to key in on? What did you really want to work on to make sure that you're ready to go for your junior year?
Um, I wish I would. Right in North Carolina, everything was shut down. So
Mhm.
mainly all the guys, like we couldn't even get to ECU gym. So I was just outside. I was just outside on my little basketball hoop. So it's kind of depressing, but it is what it is. 3 months of that, and then we finally get back to the college, and so I really feel like I lost and then I mean not just me but everybody that was just quarantined. We lost 3 months of basketball, 3 months of hoop. You know what I mean? 3 months to get even better. You know what I mean? So it was I mean it was disappointing, but we got to play basketball because we didn't even know we was gonna play basketball for the
Mhm.
rest of the year. I mean, pandemic sounds like years. That sounds like a year's worth. You know what I mean? So
Mhm. I've heard a lot of funny stories. We know you guys were having the online Zoom chats with the team, doing some workouts through Zoom. Were there any funny stories, and what did you guys off-season Zoom workouts look like?
um, it was just like just weird. Just doing stuff in your house, like manual stuff. No weights. It was
Mhm.
just very weird. Awkward. Awkward tensions in there. So it wasn't the best. So
You finally do get on campus, and once again, we don't know when or if the season is going to kick off, what the season will look like, but we now know it did go through pretty well. Obviously, everyone had their COVID breaks, everyone had the stuff that came into it as expected, but you still play games. You still got to play nearly 20 games this past year. But you had 2 whole complete years of no COVID effects. Then you have to take your daily tests. You have all the locker room restrictions, the masks, all the stuff that came with this past year. How did you handle that, and how did you adjust to the COVID season?
Um, it was quite the challenge. Um, it was very different. College experience was just shoved out the window. You know what I mean? You didn't want to put your team in jeopardy by catching COVID. But you just had to lock in, and just it was a season for if you really love basketball. You just had to be locked in. I mean, if you caught it from the court, you caught it from the court. You can't help it from that. But you just had to lock in. It was just a different environment. No fans for majority of the year. It was just very different.
I've heard a lot of other funny stories because of the test, because of the restrictions. Was there a funny moment that you remember back that kind of comes to mind right off the back of a funny thing that happened because of COVID this past year?
Um, I say probably when the first test was coming around. Uh, people were new at it, and I just remember guys getting killed. Just like she was going all the way. I was like, man, no way. Dudes was a lot of other athletes just walking out the building saying, I'm not getting this. I'm not getting this. It was they've gotten better at doing the test, but it used to be bad. They used to just like go digging. I was just like, wow, this is too much. This is too much. So
But you get on that court though, and you come out and you average 18 points, 8 rebounds, AAC first team once again. You also reach 1,400 career points there, 700 career rebounds. You guys go 8-11 though, but once again, COVID did affect a lot of stuff this year. But walk us through your senior year and just your overall view of the year.
um I just wish we played more games. It sucks. I'm missing like 12 games of tape. I'm missing 12 games of hoop.
Mhm.
So I mean, that can make or break a season. Just the inconsistencies. We had three major stops. It was like we had to stop after we were 6-1, had a break, pause, then we had another stop, then we had a I think we yeah, we beat Houston, lost to Memphis in a very tough game, and lost to SMU. Then we had another break. It was just so inconsistent. It was very terrible for the rhythm and different guys catching it, including myself at the end. Um, but it was just very different. It was very different. I wouldn't want it for anybody, this experience.
That was a crazy up and down year because you look at your season overall, like you said, to start off 6-1, everyone was kind of having, okay, this team might be for real. You guys are going to be competitive this year in the AAC. And then you guys obviously had the shutdown and you guys start losing some games. Then all of a sudden you guys come out mid-year and you guys have a big upset win over Houston. You played incredible. The whole team just went off that game. And then the shutdown happens again after a couple more losses. But I want to touch on that Houston game specifically right there. What went in that night? Walk us through that upset win.
It was a moment we're just in the game in the second half.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just thinking, I'm just like, okay, we're in the game. We're in control of the game. Um, we're playing really good, playing good defense. Let's go win the game. And it was just like, all right, let's do this. So just a big night. Then we hit 10 threes, huge night for us. Wish the fans was there. It'd have been crazy. Court would have been stormed and everything, but we caught them slipping. So they thought we was gonna go away, but we didn't go away. We kept knocking every time we had to answer, and we always had the key bucket to keep the lead. We basically controlled the whole second half. So it was it was great, you know what I mean? Being the top 5 team, that was unreal feeling. Unreal.
I don't think that fans understand how hard that can be because we discussed earlier, you guys were having a losing season, a couple of them in a row now. All of a sudden, you guys are going up against this team that's a top five team, obviously making a Final Four run this year, then later on. They're elite guys. Obviously, you have a pro in Quentin Grimes that's going to be a top first round pick, a couple other great players in that roster. And you guys have been struggling. They're coming out of COVID. All this stuff's happening for you guys. What's the mentality? Like, how do you all of a sudden decide to flip that switch and say, okay, we actually are competing here and we can win this game, even though we're kind of we're a big underdog in this game?
It's just everybody on the team has the ability to go out there and perform. It's just all about going out there and performing. And just, I mean, if we can make shots, you can be anybody. It's just proven in the NCAA tournament. It's a game of who can hit shots, and we hit all of our shots for Houston, all of our big shots, the shots we needed, and we played really good defense. We rebounded it, we matched them on the boards, so everything was tipping towards our favor.
You look back at your 3 years there and your overall East Carolina career. What would you say is your favorite memory you've had there?
Easily the Houston upset.
Mm-hmm.
Houston upset was probably one, and then two was UCF.
Out of all the teammates you had too during your time there, who would you say has been the funniest teammate?
Phew, that's hard. That's hard. It's probably my teammate, probably Ian Jones. He's
Mm-hmm.
probably the funniest dude I ever met. He's really ridiculous. He's really ridiculous. So that's my guy though.
You then decide to put your name in the portal, as we know, and you go into that top five we already discussed, and you come to Virginia, Coach Bennett. But ultimately, though, why'd you want to put your name in the portal? Why was it the decision and the route you decided to take this year?
It was just time for me. Me and my family just, we only get to play college basketball once. So I think it was time for me to make sure I'm maximizing my opportunity to try to get to where I want to get to after college. And we felt like we couldn't maximize our potential at East Carolina. So we just came to that decision to move on, unfortunately. We're leaving home, but going to a better situation for me and for my future.
And that was chaotic for you. Like I said, you have pretty much nearly every school I can imagine pretty much reached out in some capacity to you. But you look back at that, even though it probably was stressful a little bit, like we talked about earlier, you didn't necessarily have that same situation back coming out of high school where you had all these big schools wanting you. How did it feel now to look back and see your journey you all come to and realize that, okay, now's my time. God's finally coming through and I finally have all the opportunities set up in front of me.
So I mean, basically, I never thought I was gonna get recruited ever again, for college at least. So just going through that process again, it was really different and surreal because just replace all the mid majors and low majors with all high majors. Getting calls from tons and tons of coaches, it was just like it's eye opening, but it's just like it's a testament to what I've done, and people notice it now because it's done on their stage, you know. So now that it's done on their stage and they see I can do it, and it's just it was really eye opening. I'm blessed. I'm blessed to be able to play basketball, and people want me to play and play for free. So it's crazy.
Coach Bennett, as you talked about, is clearly a great coach. I think he's one of the more underrated coaches because his resume is incredible, but he's not really regarding that same topic as some of those tier one, even sometimes even tier two guys. I think he doesn't get talked about nearly as much as he should. But what's it just like being around Coach Bennett so far, talking to him on the phone, building that relationship with him? Just what's he like personality wise as a coach? Like, what do you like about Coach Bennett so far?
Oh man, he's amazing. We talked today. All of our talks have been really good. It's just I don't know. It's just, I don't know. It's just something about him. He's just a really good dude. He cares. He cares about you, the people, the community, what's happening in the world. He's really the definition of it's bigger than basketball. I just feel that connection with him, and just it feels real. You know what I mean? It's very genuine. He's a man I'm gonna love playing for. I know that already.
Knowing a few of the guys in that locker room, that team that's been around him, obviously those that are believers. I know you're a Christian too, as once again we'll talk about in a second, but having that spiritual relationship, have you guys got to talk about God yet? Talk about faith yet with him?
Yeah, it's just the first Zoom call. I mean,
Mhm.
he was big on just me praying about it. You know what I mean? Making the right decision. If it's right, God will have you in our hands. You know what I mean? It's just nice to have. Uh, I think he's my first coach that's ever just preach really, religion. You know what I mean? And Jesus and God. So it's just eye opening. So what I mean? It's really good.
When you guys first did start talking about that, did he kind of just come right at you to talk about faith, or did he kind of ask you, are you a believer? Are you a Christian? Like, how did you guys first start talking about it?
Um, it was like later in the Zoom. He saw my cross, and that's what brought it up. That's what brought it up. So yeah, so yeah, it's been a really good relationship with Tony so far.
Overall, though, you're going to be playing the ACC now, and this is one of the better conferences as well. You're going to go against some of the top teams day in, day out, other NBA prospects. How excited are you to be able to be a part of that conference now, though?
I'm ecstatic. I'm excited. I can't wait. I literally can't wait. I'm just in the gym now, just envisioning it. You know what I mean? It's just that stage I've always dreamed about being on. You know, it's just the biggest stage. It's the best stage in college basketball, ACC. You know what I mean? I grew up in ACC country. It's just amazing, man. I'm living out another dream. I've never thought I was gonna be able to live it out. So this is a dream come true, and just I can't wait. I'm excited. I'm so excited.
Hopefully, and the plan is that there's going to be fans back at all the stadiums next year. So you're going to get the full atmosphere included in this next question. But what is the team that you're most excited to go up against and play?
Duke. Duke. You know what I mean? I'm born in Durham, so I grew up a Duke fan. So I can't wait. I can't wait. I can't wait to play. I can't wait to play all the NC schools. Can't wait to play Duke, UNC, NC State, Wake Forest. You know what I mean? I can't wait to play all the schools in my hoop state. So it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun.
There's going to be probably a little bit extra motivation out of you because clearly that is the home states, and being recruited by them probably would have been something you wouldn't have minded, or at least would have liked, especially earlier on. What's that going to be like going up against them? And will there be a little extra motivation behind that?
Oh, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great, phenomenal. You know what I mean? Chip on my shoulder, like we talked about earlier. You know what I mean? Just not being recruited by any of them besides State recently, but um, it's just gonna be a chip on my shoulder. But it's also gonna be exciting. You know what I mean? I love to compete against the best of the best, and that's when I really showcase my talents. So I'm just excited, and it's not I can't fathom, man. It's so surreal right now. I'm gonna get the opportunity to do that. It's crazy.
The Virginia fan base is great, so I can already imagine a lot of them probably have looked you up and watched some film on you. But for those that haven't, or those just want to hear a little bit more about you, what will you bring to the team? What's some things that you can kind of guarantee that you'll bring to Virginia this upcoming year?
Uh, I'm gonna bring a nonstop motor. I'm gonna give them 110%. They're gonna see my joy and my compassion out there on the court. You know what I mean? I play like it's gonna be my last game ever. So they're gonna see a kid that they can get behind right away. I'm gonna make the right plays on offense, make the right plays on defense. I'm gonna sell out. So I'm gonna get you some buckets now, but I'm just gonna be. He's gonna see and tell in the court when you see me play. Uh, it's gonna be a good experience. I can't wait.
If there is one word that you could describe who you are as a person, who you are as a player, like the whole Jayden Gardner package, what would that one word be?
Courageous.
Absolutely, man. Well, a few more things before I let you go. One of which is discussing this overall team for next year now, because it's going to be a lot of changing. We see a lot of guys have gone pro. Obviously, some guys that entered the portal, like almost every school is dealing with. A couple of guys have already been added on. One guy I'm super high on Storms coming into. But what's this team going to look like? Like, what's the expectation from what you see so far, what you know? How good can this Virginia team be?
I mean, Virginia. We're gonna obviously be good because we're coached by a great leader. Once all these final pieces, come into play, the guys we get, also depending on my good friend Trey, what he decides to do at the end of the day, and we'll start knowing what we have, in the team, and we'll start building. You know what I mean? But the transfer portal has been good to Virginia and us, so should be good. I mean, I know we're not done yet, so we'll get some more guys.
I was just going to ask you next. So there's going to be some more guys coming in. And if so, how excited should fans be for whoever those guys are?
The fans should be ecstatic. I mean, me, myself, included. I'm gonna be trying to I'm trying to get some guys. If I see some guys being targeted, maybe their list is down to Virginia or something. I'm gonna be recruiting the guys. Come play with us, man. Be an unbelievable opportunity at Virginia.
Is there one guy specifically? Is there someone that, or maybe a couple of guys that you've talked to that you'd love to play with at Virginia?
Obviously, if Trey comes back, I'm gonna be ecstatic.
Mm-hmm.
We growing up in Durham, we've played each other in AAU for years and years and years. So it's just great to see where he's at now and just what Virginia did for him. It's just it's amazing that he's getting the opportunity to live out his dream. So he comes back for sure. And then I love getting to play with my guy Carson,
Mhm.
of course. So got some things to look forward to.
No doubt, man. Well, I'll like wrapping up discussing your legacy because that's something I think all guys want to establish for themselves. So, as we talked about earlier, you have left a great high school legacy, a great legacy at East Carolina. Now we know your next chapter is at Virginia. So, when you are done playing here, if it's going to be 2 years, whatever it's going to be for you out there, what do you want to be remembered for what you achieved both on and off the court in your time there?
Virginia, I just want to be remembered as the guy that gave us all on the court. You know what I mean? A guy that showed winner like intangibles and mentality. And just really remember as a good person because Jayden Gardner is a good person. And I know that the fans and the coaches and the players, they'll see that. I'm a guy that loves basketball and I'm gonna be a good person for the community and I'm gonna get my all out here.
You also have beast mode in your Instagram and Twitter profiles. Discuss that a little bit and why it's there.
I mean, that's my nickname. My AAU coach in 8th grade gave me the nickname because I beat dudes down in the paint. So that's where the nickname comes from. So I've been running with beast mode for a minute.
Absolutely, man. Now I want to discuss your faith a little bit because as we discussed a few different times, you are a believer. Walk us through your faith a little bit. Like, how has God helped get you to the point you're at today?
I mean, God. I mean, I'm nothing without God. So I mean, I've been Christian basically all my life. You know, growing up in church and stuff, and just Him giving me God. I mean, I got God-given abilities. So I just thank Him. I pray every time I get on the court. Every time during the national anthem, say a quick prayer. You know what I mean? So He can bless me. I pray every time I eat. I just very thankful. I'm just very thankful for Him, man. I've been fortunate to live a good life. You know what I mean? I've met some really great people. I have great family, great friends. So I'm just nothing without Him. So I'm very thankful to Him.
As a believer, I know, and I think all Christians end up kind of figuring this out, is that eventually there's going to be that time where you kind of truly form that bond with you, especially when you grow up in a Christian household where your family's kind of risen you in that. But when would you say it clicked for you? Like, when did you start saying, okay, I really started seeing God. I really started forming that personal bond with Him?
Um, I say I say like once I got to high school. Once I got to high school, I really felt spiritually connected to Him. So you know, growing up early, like 6, 7, you don't really understand it. You don't really understand it yet. You're just there to get instilled and get taught the ways, but you really don't understand it yet. But then as you get older, you'll start to understand that his teachings and his son that's gonna instill great habits in you.
Absolutely, man. I also know you are really outspoken about your faith. You have Philippians 4:13 written out inside both your bios. You talk about that a lot. You're vocal about your faith. That's not the case for a lot of guys because some guys are nervous about it or whatnot. But why have you decided to be so vocal about it? Like, why do you like to spread God's word and really be His light on the big stage?
I just it's just all about letting people know who you are. Like I'm not afraid to be a Christian. Not fake. I'm not afraid to believe in God. I'm just here to spread His word. And everybody's God's children. So if I can help somebody, get with God or just let them know that He's real and just He's touched my life and He's touching all of theirs and whether they know it or not. So it's just showcasing who I am and just not hiding it.
Amen, man. Well, a final thing for you. Give Virginia fans your 3 biggest goals you have set for Cavaliers' career.
My 3 biggest goals. I want to win. I want to win the ACC. I want to win the ACC.
Mm-hmm.
ACC regular season or championship. Get to the national. Get to the NCAA tournament for the first time ever. That'd be unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
And keep the winning culture going here. That's all.
Without a doubt, man. Well, I definitely appreciate you taking time to come on today. Congrats on the big move, man. And I'm excited to see what God got next for you, man. Of
Thank you. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Yeah. Appreciate you.
course, always welcome on, man. God bless.
God bless you.